Welcome, friends, it's the MovieFilm Podcast. MovieFilm Podcast, enjoy the show. Zachy and Brian are talking about the movies. MovieFilm Podcast on the radio.
Welcome to MovieFilm. This is episode 257. My name is Zachy Hassan, and I'm here with Brian Hall.
Hey, how's it going, Zachy?
It is November 2nd.
When my phone had like 1 on it, like November 1, I was like, what? Crazy.
We're now at the tail end of 2022, which to my mind is still 30 years in the future.
I know. Yeah. Well, I was looking, it was like Back to the Future Day a couple days ago, and I mean, 2015, the future, for most of my life thinking, wow, 2015. I mean, that's 7 years behind us now.
Crazy, right?
Yeah, it's crazy.
I mean, what 2022 movies are left?
You know what I had totally forgotten about, but I'm so excited. The Fabelmans.
I'm
Steven
very
Spielberg
excited for that.
Yeah, like, I mean, all intents and purposes, his life story, through some sort of fictional filter, I imagine. But I, A, had forgotten about it, and B, didn't realize it's coming out in like this month. So I'm very excited for that.
This is the most Papa Spielberg of all Papa Spielberg.
Yes.
He's out Papa Spielberg'd himself.
Well, because normally he's just like, let me tell you a story about history. And I'm like, all right.
Yeah.
But now I'm like, what? But what about you, Papa? What about you? And he's like, well, that's quite a tale. And I'm like, oh. So
that's actually the prologue. Brian is in the prologue of this.
It'd be funny if it was like Edward Scissorhands. Do you remember the opening where it's like this girl in bed by a roaring fire and old Winona Ryder, and it's just like me in bed, like, tell me a story, Papa Spielberg.
Papa Spielberg, you are so learned.
Yeah.
But as we barrel towards Thanksgiving, what new things have you seen, Brian?
Well, I haven't seen a lot of pertinent things for this show, actually, which I was, to my surprise. I haven't been to the theater. I haven't really actually. Okay, I did try to watch a couple movies, but I was having a hard time finding them streaming.
Be honest. Black Adam just broke you.
Yes.
And you're like, I need a cleanse for 2 weeks.
Yes. No, but I'm realizing now that you say that, even I was like, oh, there had been a period where I was very busy and I wasn't able to get to a lot of podcasts, which is like a real sort of let my brain go into a Zen sort of lull and listen to easy things. And recently I've been listening to a lot of podcasts. So I'm like, oh, okay, I guess that's where I've been sort of putting my time. But I have been watching a lot of sort of comfort foodie shows with Federica. I'll just mention them, so whatever, but I won't really get into them. But Brooklyn Nine-Nine, we're in season 4 now, I believe, and really loving that show. I mean, it's just so fun, and all the characters are really well drawn out, and it's just like, it's comfort food. Every night it's like, well, let's cue that up, have some dinner. It's kind of nice. And then also, speaking of comfort food, quite literally, Great British Bake Off, watching the new season of that. It's funny too, because Federica will be like, which is it? What are you feeling tonight? And I'm like, British Bake Off. Like, let's go to the tent, watch them make cardamom pops or whatever. But hopefully for next time, I mean, I have a ton of things I want to watch. I see how they run that, like, Agatha Christie. It's not written by Agatha Christie, but I believe it's about Agatha Christie, one of her plays, and it's like a murder mystery. Right. Sam Rockwell. Right. Yeah. I'm really curious about Tar and Banshees of Inisherin.
I want to see both of those.
Yeah, so if I get a minute, one of those will be the thing I check out. So
it's been interesting with Tar. It came on my radar like maybe 4 or 5 weeks ago, and immediately I was like, this is a real person, right? And I had to do some digging to figure out that Cate Blanchett is not in fact playing a real person.
Right.
But it's been very amusing to look on Twitter, and periodically it's like these little spasms of people realizing that it's not a real person, like going through the exact same journey I've been on.
Right.
But I'm hearing interesting things about it. So yeah.
Yeah. And then, I'm going to throw one more out there just because out of curiosity, since I don't have a ton to share. But have you heard of this movie called 5/25/77?
I've heard of it.
So this is a movie that has a crazy interesting story. I haven't seen it yet. It comes out this month. I plan to watch it, so I will eventually talk about it. But basically, I remember back in like 2007, Patrick Reed Johnson, who's a filmmaker, writer, director, he basically, when he was a kid, he was really interested in working in special effects, and he came out and visited ILM and became one of the first people to see Star Wars.
Right.
And so, and then he, went back to Illinois where he was from and was trying to explain it to people, and it kind of changed his life, and he became a filmmaker and whatever. So he wrote this script that's basically, his autobiography of that experience and coming of age. And when I heard about it in 2007, I was like, sign me up. And then it was like, well, he's making it. They're not be able to finish it. They don't have the money. And I remember in 2008 or 9 working at a production company and actually calling around because I thought I could be like, hey, I'm from this company. Can you give us a little, a DVD screener of this movie? And like no one had heard of it even. And it's become this crazy saga through the years where he'll keep doing updates like, yes, holding like a test screening or whatever, screening a rough version of the movie in 2014, 16, we shot new scenes, 2018, 19, it's coming out, 2020, not out, but it's coming. And literally this November, I believe the 22nd, I think, it's actually going to be released. And I think there's something about just, I mean, the subject matter, of course, is interesting to me, but there's been this decade plus buildup for me where it's just, I've been aware of this movie and, kind of wanting to see it. And it's coming out this month. So, I mean, it has John Francis Daley, I think, plays him in it. And
that's right.
Neil Flynn's in it, Colleen Camp, a bunch of people. So very curious about that one.
I mean, Gary Kurtz died 4 years ago.
Right.
Producing it. Fred Roos, who is himself kind of a big name. He did The Godfather. And I'm like, the fact that it's taken this long definitely adds this level of what were they cooking for all this time?
Yeah, right. Exactly that. And knowing too that he's had the opportunity to, tweak obviously, but then I think, additional photography and spiff up the visual effects. I mean, think about the advancement in visual effects over the years.
What's interesting to me is that this is in effect an American Graffiti about Star Wars.
Yes. Right. That's a good way of putting it.
Right. And you think, how could George Lucas have even imagined something like that while shooting American Graffiti?
Yeah. Right. Right. Yeah. Similarly,
Patrick Reed Johnson, by the way, real quick, he wrote the movie Dragonheart.
That's right. Yeah, he did.
That's the first time I heard of him was for that.
Yeah, he did. I mean, like Baby's Day Out, I remember he directed, and he did Spaced Invaders. You remember that?
Yeah, I remember Spaced Invaders.
Yeah. There's one other like sort of bigger one I feel like he's known for. I'm not remembering. But anyway, yeah.
Go on. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, not at all. Shoot, actually I lost it. Oh, that's okay.
Sorry.
No worries. I remember when you were talking about George Lucas, could he have imagined? I mean, without any spoilers, I watched not this week's Andor, but last week's Andor, which maybe I'm mistaken, but it had in my mind, a real THX 1138 sort of vibe going on.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
And, Lucas famously, much of his career has always been like, I just can't achieve my vision on screen. I wanted it to be bigger. And so he, that's why he keeps going back and touching his films up when he can, including THX, which he touched up and added a lot of visual effects. And I was wondering if maybe he saw that episode and was like, they make it, they just, I wanted to do that all these years. And now they just did it in this TV show for one episode.
I have to imagine that of all the Disney era Star Wars stuff, if Lucas is even paying attention, I would think something like Andor would be something he'd be most happy with.
I would think so.
You know,
I would think so.
because it's doing the most different with it. It's straying far from just sort of retreading the same beats that he played.
And I think he really is interested in the machinations of it all.
That's right.
You know, how this came to be. And I think as this digs really, you know, into the bureaucracy of the Empire, I think that feels like something that he would be pleased to see played out, you know?
Yeah. Are you feeling that show a little bit more now? I know initially you were kind of.
Oh yeah, you know, I had a moment after watching the first 3 where there was like a couple weeks where I had not seen it, and I just kind of was like, oh yeah, like I liked it, but I wasn't necessarily missing it. But yeah, now it's become, it's like, oh great, Wednesday, you know, like I do like dipping back into it. So I'll watch it
nice.
probably after this week's.
I've been really enjoying Quantum Leap. You know, I know we talked about it when it first started. Man, it's actually steadily improved. You know, it took a little bit to find its footing. I would say the pilot was probably the weakest of this show thus far, which that's a good situation to be in, I would think. You know,
Yeah, pilots are hard.
And my understanding is that in this particular case, the initial episode that was shot as the pilot was held in the order until later.
Oh, it's always weird when they do that.
Yeah, so I think episode 4 or 6 or one of them was initially the pilot. Yeah, in fact, I believe it was the one that aired last week, which was about the San Francisco earthquake of 1989. Oh, and I can see why they held it, because it's a little more reliant on the character relationship, like having the audience having a pre-existing relationship with the characters. But I think what they ultimately did for the pilot was kind of a low boil, you know. So I wonder.
Yeah.
I don't know how the show's doing. I think it's doing okay because NBC picked it up for the season.
Oh, good.
For the full season. But it is very much a network show, but I don't say that in a pejorative sense. I say it like, I like that. I like knowing what I'm getting, and I get to go on the, like there's something refreshing about that.
Yeah. Good. Well, I'm glad it's hanging in there. And maybe that's one of those things, after some time, I'll kind of binge a few of them.
Well, I've said to you before, I think you absolutely should watch the original Quantum Leap.
Yes. Maybe that's what I'll do first.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Another thing I've seen recently, Brian, I've mentioned this movie in this past year when Ray Liotta died. It's called No Escape.
Yes.
This was a film that Ray Liotta starred in. It was really the first movie that put him on the map for me.
Mm-hmm.
Because it was one of those things where all the trailers and TV spots were like, Ray Liotta, No Escape.
Right.
And so I was like, oh, he must be somebody, you know?
Right.
Because I had not seen Goodfellas at that point. It's from 1994. It is directed by Martin Campbell.
Oh, no kidding.
And it stars Kevin Dillon, and Ernie Hudson is in it, Lance Henriksen, Stuart Wilson, who is the villain in Lethal Weapon 3.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So it is very much a low budget affair. I mean, it like today it would be a Netflix movie or something. You know what I mean?
Okay.
But there's just something so quaint about that. Like I thoroughly enjoyed revisiting it, and I haven't seen it since the theater in whatever it was, 94.
Oh wow, you saw it in the theater.
I saw it in the theater. I saw it at the cheap show. Do you remember the Northgate, the Dollar Theater off of whatever it was? I think like 53 and is
that kind of by a bowling alley?
Yes, it was.
Yeah, I wasn't there.
That one, I think you're thinking of the one that was further south, like where I used to live. But this was kind of closer to COD, that area.
Wow, I'm not sure I do. I always went to the Wheaton. I was from Wheaton. I went to the Wheaton Theater. That was the $1.50 theater.
That's right. Those are like lost now. I don't think those exist anymore. Cheap theaters.
The last time I ever saw one was when I was in college, and which was great because it was right by campus, and it was I think like $3.
Okay.
But yeah, you just don't see those anymore, do you?
The last cheap show I went to was to see The Terminal.
Mm.
The Tom Hanks movie. Which that was whatever that like 2005 probably, right? Or 2004
Yeah,
something like that. And by that time I had gotten used to going to like first run theaters.
I'm
And so
sure.
I became acutely aware of the general shittiness of the second run theaters.
Yes. And it's funny too, because now, I mean, with the DCPs or whatever they use, the movie looks as good 100 days later as it did on day one, right? But I mean,
that's true.
When you'd get to second run, those movies were like
rough.
they'd been like they'd been run over by like a semi truck, and like and I remember so many movies breaking. I'll never forget Tommy Boy. Seeing Tommy Boy at a second run theater, and it just like it's just ripping apart while you're watching it.
Yeah, I mean in the 90s, for the majority of the 90s, the first time I watched a movie in the theater was at second run.
Yeah.
So like Jurassic Park, that was the North Gate off of 53. Schindler's List, I saw that at Ogden 6.
Ogden 6. I've been there. Yeah.
Yeah. I remember one time I watched Jurassic Park, and then like right after I was there with my brother and a friend, and we were like, hey, let's just watch another one, and we snuck in, which like is it even sneaking in to Copycat.
I remember that with Sigourney Weaver
and Harry Connick Jr.
Yeah, I remember because the killer licks a knife, and I remember being like, ugh, like it's to this day it bothers me.
that one I feel like it was either Dermot Mulroney or Dylan McDermott.
right.
It was Dermot. I think it was Dermot Mulroney as a doomed partner.
right, doomed partner.
You're like, oh, he's gonna die.
Yeah.
I want to look that up now. If it was in fact Dermot Mulroney,
that's where I learned what agoraphobia was too. I remember that. Yeah.
What's funny is Dermot Mulroney is the doomed partner in Copycat. Dylan McDermott is the doomed partner in the Line of Fire.
Wow.
They've both been the doomed partner.
That's amazing. I'm surprised that we didn't just blink out of existence once that circle had been completed.
Anyway, so No Escape.
Yes.
Man, this was really good. You will totally enjoy this.
As you're describing it, saying sort of like, oh, it's the low risk but fun reward sort of thing. I'm like, maybe I'll watch this tonight.
No, it gave me Escape Plan vibes, and I would say that
which I gotta watch. Yes,
yeah, and I'd say that even if they didn't both have the word escape in the title, that's just a coincidence.
Yeah,
but kind of the same. I've been telling you to watch Escape Plan for so long that now I feel like I'm overhyping it.
Well, no, I know what I'm in for, and like I just yeah, it's in my folder in your Voodoo.
Oh, okay.
I have a folder. Well, I think you created it for me. It's like Brian wanna watch.
That's right. I'm like, whatever you want, just put it there.
Yeah.
Because there's too many. There's too many things to pick from sometimes.
I know.
But yeah, it's for those of you who are watching, you're like, okay, can we stop the copycat / second run theater talk to hear about the movie? So it's set in the future. I think 2020, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh wow.
No, in fact, Brian, it is set in the year 2022.
Was it really?
Yeah.
Wow.
So the world of tomorrow.
Yeah, I was just waiting. So
and that's right. And Ray Liotta plays a soldier who is sent to prison for murdering like one of his superiors, and he's too much of a pain in the ass for like the regular prison, so they end up dropping him on this island where basically problematic prisoners are sent, and it's kind of like they're left to fend for themselves. So you have these two encampments that have sprung up. One is just basically like the refugees from the Mad Max bad guy club.
Right.
And then one is like, oh, we're going to try to make a go of it and, be civilized. And so Ray Liotta is kind of caught in the middle of it. And it's just, I mean, it's a well-made, I mean, it's Martin Campbell, right? And so this was what got him the James Bond gig.
Wow.
And you get it because he's skilled at this type of movie. Leota's great. And it's just, like low risk, low reward, but I think it's thoroughly enjoyable.
This is incredibly random, but is there a line in there where some guy goes, "Welcome to hell"?
Probably.
Okay. I remember seeing this trailer in front of a movie on VHS with my friends, and it was sort of men on an island trying to kill each other, or escape one another kind of thing. And I remember some guy said that in the trailer, and we thought that was so funny. We used to say that a lot to each other. I was wondering if it was this movie.
Maybe you were quoting this all this time. You didn't even realize it.
Yeah. Oh, I'll find out.
The line I remember is Leota's like, "You want it? Come and get it." And I was like, that guy, he knows what's up.
That's the guy.
That's the guy.
Isn't that funny, by the way, how that can happen just based on a trailer? I mean, if you were to watch the movie straight, never seeing anything, you just watch the film as it is, I wonder if as many lines would stick in our brains through the decades if they hadn't been prominently featured in a trailer we saw over and over. And then they almost became like a musical note, that we just sort of got stuck in our brains.
Which is the reason that I quote the Mystery Alaska trailer nonstop.
I feel like we've talked about this.
We have talked about it.
I can't remember though. What is it? What's the line?
Well, I don't. I assumed there would be no follow-ups. I was just going for a humorous aside, but.
Oh. I'm just gonna gracefully sidestep over here.
But do you remember they played that trailer for what felt like 5 years or something?
I do remember that. Yeah,
for whatever reason.
Yeah,
the David E. Kelly, Russell Crowe hockey movie that the world had been waiting for.
Yeah.
Anywho, other stuff I've seen, Brian. There's a show on Hulu which you might enjoy. It's called Reboot.
Oh yes, Keegan-Michael Key.
That's right.
Okay, I'm familiar with it.
This is a reboot of the animated CGI series from the 1990s about CGI characters living inside a computer. I'm just kidding. Although I kind of want that now.
Wait, did you see the SNL sketch this past weekend where they're in an AA meeting? Did you see that?
Yes.
This one's so funny. And then basically this one guy is like, well, actually, the thing I want to share is I came up with an idea for a Pixar movie. And then he shares this whole long thing that's about, like luggage that gets lost, and he describes her. But they start describing it, and you're like, yeah, that sounds like a Pixar movie. That sounds pretty good.
And then Tom Hanks shows up.
Yeah, and then he shows up, yeah. Anyway, that reminded me.
And then on that episode, they did the David Pumpkins sketch.
Yes.
And they hyped it up like David Pumpkins Returns, and it was the exact same sketch.
I am so glad you said that, because I watched it on YouTube, like the video, a couple of the sketches. And so when I saw there was a Pumpkins one, I was like, oh, great. And when it started the same, I was like, wait. I was like,
yeah.
Now you need to turn it on its head somehow, or you need to introduce a new element, or there's got to be a twist to it, And I was like, no, they're just gonna do the sketch again. I mean, Don't get me wrong. Did I still chuckle? I did. But yeah, I kind of wish they've done it, I think, at least twice or three times before. So
this is what I hate about SNL recurring sketches.
Yeah. It's like someone doing a cover of a song, and you already know it, so you can sing along to it, and it's just slightly different. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So anyway, that was disappointing. So Reboot.
Yes.
We're just doing all kinds of tangents today.
I know. You know what? It's later. It's later in the day. I think that's what it is.
It's later in the day as we're recording. I just came home from work. This is movie film at dusk.
Yeah. I'm here for it personally, but I don't know. But
it's a different energy.
Yeah.
So you've heard of this show? Have you seen it?
Mm-mm. I think Federica's.
I think you would enjoy it.
A couple episodes in, but yeah.
Oh, is she enjoying it? Is she liking it?
I think so. Yeah, we haven't talked a lot about it, but
I kind of I saw the trailer, and based on that, I was like, oh, let me give this a shot. And yeah, I'm about I'm on episode 5, I think.
Mhm.
And the premise of the show is it's you have an old family sitcom from like the 90s called Step Right Up,
It's funny.
which you can sort of imagine the general premise, like, oh,
Mhm.
it's a wacky stepdad and there's the old dad and they have to work together, and
Right.
and so they decide to reboot it for Hulu.
That's a great idea.
It is. And so Keegan Michael Key was the star of the original show, and he's tried to have like a quote serious actor career, and
Mm.
it hasn't happened. And so like out of desperation, he takes the job on the new version of this old show. And Rachel Bloom is the one who's spearheading this new version, and it turns out she's the daughter of the show's original creator, who's played by Paul Reiser.
Oh.
And he decides, well, it's my show, I'm gonna come back. And so now you have this conflict between the father and the daughter, and you have this cast.
That's good.
Cast Johnny Knoxville, Judy Greer,
Wow.
and it's very funny. It's very clever.
Yeah.
I've been enjoying it so far. So I don't know if the season just wrapped. I don't know if they're going to be coming back, but Keegan, obviously, he's hilarious.
I love him.
But I've been enjoying Johnny Knoxville on it as well. So
Yeah, he's what an unlikely long-term celebrity figure he's become.
Well, the thought I had watching it, and these are random things I think about, I was like, who knew that like Johnny Knoxville would have a longer and more well-regarded career than, say, like Dane Cook?
Right? Yeah.
Like back in 04, 05, Dane Cook was everywhere, and I was like the one voice in the wilderness who was like, I don't think he's that funny, y'all.
Right.
And people just kind of looked at me sideways and just kept walking.
Yeah, and they gave you the super finger, and
that's right.
Wasn't it? I think that was his thing.
Yeah, I was never a Dane Cook fan. So
I remember being at work and someone being like, "Listen to this," and we listened to his CD, and I remember thinking it was funny. Like he had the thing about heists. I remember I thought it was really funny, but when he was doing movies, I never really, I couldn't get into him as like like a brand.
Yeah,
I guess
he had the one with Jessica Alba, I think.
Yeah.
Right,
I
and he
forgot
was
what it was called.
And he was like a villain in something, like a dramatic role.
Oh, I remember that. Mr. Brooks.
Is that what it was?
I think with Kevin Costner.
With Kevin Costner.
Kevin Costner is a serial killer, I think. And this guy is obsessed with him, and he wants him to take him out to show him like what he does. Yeah, I that was one of those random movies. I don't tend to do this. Usually I'm actually curious about you with this. Like, I kind of know what I want to go see. I'm very intentional about what I go out to go watch. But I have some friends that are like, "Oh, there's this movie, Mr. Brooks. Like, I don't know, let's just go see this." I'm like, "Well, I don't really know much about that." Like I don't do a lot of blind viewing, at least when it requires me going out of the house, right? And that was like a blind viewing that me and a friend did. And I remember thinking it was okay.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Doesn't that feel like Ouija board casting? Like Kevin Costner, and then the thing drags you to Dane Cook, and it drags you a serial killer, and you're like, what?
Yes,
and then,
right.
Yeah, you have to write the script after that.
That is hilarious.
I have not seen that movie, so I cannot comment on it.
I can't. I remember thinking it was like, oh, that was okay, but I'm not going to put my stamp on it because I don't remember.
Okay, so it's a thumbs down for as far as we know on the Dane Cook filmography, the collected Dane Cook, the collected Cook.
It's funny. I was like, how did we get here? Oh yes, it's Johnny Knoxville. Yes, this really is the tangent episode.
It really is. But yeah, I've been enjoying the show, and as I was watching, I was like, oh, I think you'd probably enjoy it. I mean, it's definitely a lot of inside baseball that I'm sure you'd appreciate, having worked on a couple of TV shows.
Yeah.
But it's Paul Reiser. It's actually, I've appreciated that the show, it's setting up stuff like you have the daughter who's younger and she wants the writer's room to be more reflective of sort of the diversity of the world we live in.
Mm-hmm.
And you got Reiser as the dad who's like, well, here's my veteran comedy writers.
Right. Oh, that's kind of interesting. Yeah.
Right. And there's easy jokes that you could go to where you're like, oh, look at those people, like whichever
Right.
way, but I actually like that the show puts these elements against each other and makes the case for both,
Oh, interesting.
which I find that refreshing,
Yeah, I kind of unexpected, and I kind of like that
Yeah.
because that's sort of the world I want to live in, where we can all get along.
That's right.
Yeah.
How naive of you, Brian.
I know.
That's the same world Elon Musk wants to live in, Brian.
That's true. That's true.
It's so funny
but when you put it like
earlier, all you need is $44 billion or whatever, and you can have your own social media platform.
Yeah. I mean, that
I was actually
yeah.
No, just in my class today. One of my kids was like, one of my students, not one of my children, was talking about the Musk thing. It's like, well, he just wants everybody to have free speech. What's wrong with that?
Mm.
And I was like, well, I think it's an admirable goal. I would ask how you get there, right? It's like, what Musk has said about Twitter. It's like, I want it to be like the town square where everybody can talk. I'm like, no, but this is like a town square where everybody's handed a microphone and a speaker.
Yeah.
And you say, okay, everybody talk.
Right.
Anyway,
Yeah. And you
so
don't actually have to be facing one another. You can hide from your, little cove and say awful things, whether and
that's really what Twitter is. It's where you don't actually converse, you talk shit about other people.
Right.
Or look at what other people are saying and be like, what an asshole that guy is.
It's funny. I didn't know if you're going to want to talk about this or not, but I was thinking about you this week in regards to Twitter, mainly because I joined it when it started, like 2007, and then just didn't figure out a way for it to be a part of my life. And so when it became sort of the hellscape it became through the years, seeing it sort of crash and burn, well, potentially crash and burn at the moment, I was sort of like, well, there go. Like, I guess it lit itself on fire and whatever. But actually then I started thinking about you, and I was like, it's easy to sort of dismiss Twitter for its worst qualities, but I also see its value where it gives people a platform, like when it's at its best self. I mean, it allows you to like grow an audience, and I even just make connections and relationships and find jobs, through it.
Sure.
So I'm just like, so I don't, it's my feelings are not as cut and dry on it as I think they may have been in the past. And I'm like, oh, well, it's just too bad they can't find a good way to fix it. Cause I can see, like I say, through the benefits that have the ways it's benefited you. I'm like, oh, well, I mean, it could be good. It could be a good thing.
Yeah.
It's,
well,
I don't know.
I think, to your point, I think there is no doubt that I have benefited professionally from Twitter, but I think even more than that for me, I mean, I have formed what I consider genuine friendships with people who I've interacted entirely on Twitter, only on Twitter.
Right.
People I think of them as, that is a friend, and I don't feel I need to hedge that by saying, it's an online friend or something like that. People who listen to this show, for that matter.
Yeah.
But it absolutely is a hellscape, and what I have done over the years is I have curated my experience on there, where just for my own sanity, in terms of accounts that I don't see or keywords and things like that, because I'm just like, well, whatever, I don't live on air, but whatever time I do spend, I don't want to be going crazy. And I've, as time has gone by, I've learned, like, I don't need to engage with stupid people.
Right.
People who have no bearing on my life, and so that all of that helps. But yeah, I think that, there was a thing he dropped, I think yesterday, day before, like, it's going to charge X number of dollars a month for the verified, the blue check.
Right.
And I saw a bunch of people like, people are going to be paying for these check marks. And I'm like, I don't think anybody who has a check mark is going to pay for it. So you're going to, it's going to be the exact opposite. I think people who always wanted one will pay for it, and everybody who had one will lose theirs. So it'll be, it'll be like,
yeah.
it'll be nega Twitter, you know?
Right.
Like that's how you know somebody's verified if they don't have the check mark,
Right.
you know? So this stuff, I'm viewing it with sort of car wreck fascination, but I think it's worth acknowledging. You know, Trump created his own social media. Elon Musk bought Twitter, and Kanye West bought Parler. And I'm like, is this the new thing now? Like,
Right.
If we don't want to be criticized, we just create our own, as you said, our own silo to scream into.
Right. And all these things that sort of began as like a, hey guys, I made this thing. Like maybe it could be kind of cool. It's like eventually gets so big that, yeah, someone just buys it so they can control it.
Well, and I mean, I think I was just discussing this earlier today about like Meta, aka Facebook, right? Which I asked my students, I was like, how many of you have a Facebook account? And in a class of about 30, 3 people raised their hands.
Wow.
Right? Isn't that interesting?
That is.
And so you see that, and admittedly it's anecdotal, but then you see headlines that Mark Zuckerberg has lost 100 billion of his personal wealth.
Wow.
In the last year.
Wow.
You know, you sort of you start seeing the limits of what social media can accomplish, right? I mean, I've said for years and years, I've said it for going on a decade, that social media is making us meaner. It's making us more closed-minded, and it's making us less likely to listen to people we disagree with. That's empirically verifiable.
Yeah.
And so if all of it were to disappear tomorrow, I would be sad that I wouldn't be able to talk to my friends. But honestly, I think it would do the human race a favor.
Yeah. It's a total Pandora's box thing, right? I mean, it's just, I don't know how you stuff it back, but like, yeah. And do you ever think, and this is a total old man talk now, but I actually am very glad to have had the experience of a significant portion of life without it.
Yeah.
And then now a decent amount of life with it. Because then I can appreciate what it is. And I'm like, no, my life's very easy now. I get to order my movie tickets. I get GPS that tells me exactly how to get to this place. You know, it's really, really great. But I also have, I think, some sort of perspective on it as well, because I know I lived enough life without it too. But it's going to be interesting. I mean, with your kids even, you know, just they only know life with it, and they only know the experience of, well, yeah, some stranger I don't know could start harassing me on here, you know. It's just so different.
I worry about that. And, you know, I tell them all the time, you know, I was talking to my oldest just recently where I'm like, you know, you don't have to put all your thoughts on a platform. It's okay to just keep your thoughts to yourself, because you're creating a paper trail of stuff that 20 years from now, you'll be like, why did I say that?
Yeah. Right.
You know, like we didn't have to worry about every piece of nonsense going in our head in our sophomore year of high school being out there somewhere.
Yeah, sure.
Because I wouldn't have wanted that out there. I don't know what I was thinking back then.
I know. And it's not even just like, oh, would I have said something that hasn't aged well? But I mean, it's just stupid, just stupid stuff. And I don't need all those things attributed to me. Yeah.
Yeah, you know, so we got to live an adolescence without that stuff.
Yeah.
And thank goodness for that.
Yeah.
You know,
crazy.
So anyway, reboot. How do we?
Yes. I can't wait to see the rabbit hole with the next one.
Yeah, seriously. So another show. Speaking of new series on streaming, so this is a show that just dropped on Netflix. It is called Blockbuster. It is about the last surviving Blockbuster, not to be confused with the actual last surviving Blockbuster, which is the subject of a documentary on Netflix.
So that does it take place in isn't that Alaska or something where that is?
That's in Oregon.
Oregon. Okay. So this is not sort of a riff on that very store in Oregon. This is just imagine
somewhere else.
Last.
Imagine I think it's like Michigan or something. I think.
Okay.
So this show stars Randall Park.
Love him.
And Melissa Fumero, who you have been watching her work recently.
As of recent, I love her. Yes.
So this show, Brian, is not good.
I didn't get a great feeling from the trailer.
Yeah.
That's such this. It's weird in the past 5 years, maybe even more, that there has been this surge of blockbuster nostalgia. You know, you see
Yes.
like the T-shirts at Target or whatever, and I remember at the time not liking Blockbuster because I liked my mom and pop shop, and Blockbuster was really expensive, and you know it was kind of the corporate thing. But I
didn't like that. I didn't like that they didn't have the section with the beads hanging over the door.
Yeah, that's
you
right.
try to sneak in. They never had that.
That's so funny. Your kids don't even know what you're talking about. Yeah. Or if you saw someone go through the beads, you're like, whoa.
Yeah, exactly. I remember being in one of those like mom and pop things and being, maybe I don't know, 13, 14, and you're looking at the beaded door,
Yeah.
you're looking at the guy at the counter, beaded door, guy at the counter, beaded door guy.
Yes.
And you're like, that guy probably could not give two shits.
That's very true. Yeah.
No, but I agree with you. I find the Blockbuster nostalgia like to some extent. You're like, yeah, that was fun. You know what I mean? Like, oh, I remember like getting a movie on Friday night, and you think of it that way. But you have people who are writing balletic poems about it. Oh, what an era we've lost. I'm like, no, I've said this before. Well, it's better now. If it wasn't better now, we'd still be using Blockbuster.
Yes. And to be fair, as I'm throwing out this criticism, it's not to say that I don't feel twinges of that nostalgia also, because it reminds me of a moment. Right.
Yes.
And even in Los Angeles, by the way, I don't know if elsewhere, but there is, there's all these like pop-up restaurants, like Saved by the Bell pop-up or Stranger Things pop-up. There's going to be a Blockbuster pop-up out here where you can have brunch, no joke, at a like recreated Blockbuster. And I was like, that's insane. And I want to go. But yes. So all that to say, when I saw this trailer, even just the concept was, being advertised, I was like, I'm intrigued. And the actors, I like the concept, the nostalgia of it. So I was interested.
So Randall Park, Melissa Fumero, J.B. Smoove from Curb Your Enthusiasm.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, it's a good cast.
Mm-hmm.
Brian, I kid you not. I watched 10 episodes of this thing. I laughed maybe 3 times.
Really?
Like I would have, if I watched it so that I could review it for the paper. Were it not for that, I would have dipped after 2.
Really?
And not, but I'm like, oh God, like, I finish episode 3 or whatever. I'm like, oh God, 7 more. Like
really?
Let me hunker down. Here we go.
What is it? What about it?
It's trying real hard to do something in the vein of other shows that have done it better, but it can't quite find a tone that it wants. So I think the closest comparison I can think of is like the show Superstore, which I don't know if you've seen.
Not a lot. Federica loved Superstore.
That's a good show if you're looking for something to watch.
Okay.
You'll enjoy that. But Superstore had a point of view.
Okay.
Right.
Okay.
And it's about these people who are working this, retail hell, right? It's not a job anybody aspires to, but it's just people trying to make a go of it. And you like the characters and they're quirky, but it works. Right. And this is trying to do something like that. But I don't find any of the characters endearing, including Randall Park, who I love. Right.
Wow.
Like he's trying to work with the material, but it's just the character was not somebody I really cared to follow,
Mm-hmm.
And so I mean it's just and then you're living inside this Blockbuster store, and I'm like, God, I hate being inside this store.
Yeah, sure. Sure. It's a little claustrophobic versus like a Walmart or something where you can have different sections. Yeah.
Different. Exactly. And so 10 episodes, I think it's going to be one and done. And the thought I had was, I mean, you know the story that like when Netflix was first starting, they went to Blockbuster and they're like, "Hey, do you want to buy us for $50 million?"
Right.
And Blockbuster was like, 50 million, who do you think you are? And they threw them out like Uncle Phil used to throw jazz out, you know?
Ah! Yeah.
Yeah, like that. And then cut to, 22 years later, Netflix is a dominant force.
Mhm.
Blockbuster is gone. And this feels like the final indignity.
Right.
Like, we're going to make a show about you and it's going to suck. What do you think of that? Yes, so-and-so,
You're right.
So definite swing and a miss on Blockbuster.
Wow.
It's skip it. Do something else.
Yeah. Wow.
Sit in quiet contemplation for 5 hours or whatever the runtime is for that season.
All right.
That might be better. So with that out of the way, let's take a short break. We'll come back and talk through some listener letters.
How does a film go from an idea to the big screen? And what happens to the filmmakers behind them? Get ready to find out how our favorite filmmakers made it happen and how it changed them on the podcast, How I Got Greenlit.
It's hosted by the creator of HBO's Project Greenlight, Alex Collegian, and Emmy award-winning producer Ryan Gibson. Past guests have included Craig Perry, Ryan Donahue, and Anthony Jeswinski.
Listen to How I Got Greenlit on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts.
And we are back. And hey, Brian, we got a couple of letters here. So this is a note we got at moviefilmpodcast@gmail.com from Sean Steiner, who says, "Hi, you probably get these a bunch, but I figured, what the heck? Because I'd recently just had a soundtrack come up on my YouTube and made me go, that'd be neat. Let's throw it. And if it happens, cool. If not, oh well." That's also, Brian, my philosophy of life, just in general. I find it works for me. An idea for possible commentary sometime might be the 2002 Time Machine remake. Brian, this sounds familiar.
Oh, what?
Given we've just passed its 20th anniversary and the movie has some decent pedigrees in it. And Sean goes on to tell us that it was directed by Simon Wells, the grandson of H.G. Wells, the great-grandson of H.G. Wells. It was written by John Logan, who wrote Gladiator, and of course Guy Pearce and Jeremy Irons, who star in it. He then says, all in all, it's a film that potentially had a lot going on for it, and it ends up being the 2002 Time Machine remake. It's not like unwatchable or anything, just there. And part of that is there is a divide in the film between the, quote, guy tries to undo personal tragedy with time travel, and why won't it work, to the, quote, Eloy and Morlock action-adventure film portions. And the former is just a bit more compelling than another man fights monsters to save the day story. I don't know. Like I said, I just thought I'd suggest it. Have fun. Always enjoy the podcasts. Brian, do you have more thoughts on... I feel like Sean wrote this without having listened to the episode like 2 weeks ago. Or
I think it was like crazy timing, right? Because we had just randomly talked about it.
Quite extensively.
Yes. Yeah. No, I had nothing to add. I
like
haven't.
More than like the fact that in more than 10 years we've never so much as mentioned the 2002 Time Machine, and then we go into it, and then we get this note. Very funny.
That it was amazing. Yeah. No, I love it. And Sean, it could not have been put better. Where it feels split into two movies. And by the way, I'm no expert on this. I didn't even watch the whole thing, but I did sense that real tonal shift at the end where they felt like, well, we got to insert some action in here. So have them, get in some sort of fist fight with Jeremy Irons,
Yeah. Well, and I sent you the time travel sequence.
Which was, I loved. Yes. And the music was great. And
so good.
Yeah. And it's how I imagined it when I was reading it too. I mean, I love that they didn't try to zazz it up a lot and just make it sort of crazy. Like it felt very true to the spirit of the actual book. It's very dazzling. Yeah.
Well, so probably not going to do a commentary, Sean, but you sparked this discussion, and the discussion that we had previously. I'll just say that you went back in time and sparked that one.
Yes, that's right. That's right. Congratulations, Sean. No, thanks for writing it. That was great.
Thank you. Yes. And here's another note we got from Simon Burnwell, who says, Dear Zachy and Brian, thanks for a great show and for consistently great conversations. Got a question for both of you. As someone who hopes to work in the entertainment industry, I've appreciated in the past when you've offered advice on breaking in, and both of you have succeeded in your different fields, but I'm wondering if you ever feel set, like you've made it, or if you're constantly worried about losing your job. Imposter syndrome? And Brian, I'll let you tackle that one.
Speaking to imposter syndrome, yeah, definitely.
So you're sitting in the writer's room of a show that's gonna, be seen by like an actual audience.
Sure.
You've made it.
It's a lot of different feelings. I will say this about specifically writing. I will never forget this one moment. I was sitting in a writer's room and we were, breaking a story, trying to come up with an episode. And I said, and this is what we do on the show. This is what we do in real life. This is what I do with my friends, with my brother. And I was like, wouldn't it be funny if, fill in the blank? I don't know, like the dog does this and it causes this and it'd be kind of funny, right? And I remember our story editor going to the board and going, yep, that's it. And then just writing it down. And that became like the last half of an episode. And I thought, holy cow, this is a job. I just felt like I found it. Like, this is what I love. This is what I think I'm kind of wired for. And it was a really satisfying feeling. And yet, and I would imagine you would feel sort of similar. I mean, you have these moments where you're like, that went really well, but then there'll be another moment where something is asked of you and you just can't think of it, or you turn something in and you get a note where it's like, not this, and you're like, oh, of course. Like, what was I thinking? I can't do this. Like all the time. And I think what's really helped me with that is I listen to a lot of writing podcasts, like Script Apart, which is excellent. And the Q&A with Jeff Goldsmith, which is also excellent. And when you hear these professional writers, these Oscar-winning writers, and they have the same feelings you do, they express like, oh yeah, no, I every day I realize, or I think someone's going to realize I can't actually do this, or when I have a blank page, I don't love it. Like, it's actually painful. I'm like, yeah, me too sometimes.
There's a quote from Aaron Sorkin who says, I hate writing, but I love having written.
That could not be put more perfectly, which of course makes sense that Aaron Sorkin said it. Because that's actually, I was just talking about this with my mom, because it's the act of writing is so hard. And then as soon as you hit send and you turn it in and they go, thanks, great. You're like, wow, that is the greatest feeling in the world. So it's a cocktail, honestly, of all the above. So if you are, and I don't know specifically what Simon wants to do, but it is totally normal to have those feelings, but not everybody has that burning passion inside of them and follows through on it. So I say, if you do, then keep doing it, and know that those moments are going to happen, but fight through those things because you love it. I mean, that's the important part of it. You do it because you love it. And the fact that you're continuing to fight through already puts you at an advantage to many, many other people. So
that's really good advice. It's, I mean, and let me just add, a couple weeks ago when I was at that the Knives Out event, and there's Ryan Johnson and Kate Hudson, whatever. And so the, during the course of that, I sat down and I was chatting with Alan Johnson, who's also a critic at the Chronicle, and he's like, oh, I really enjoy what you've been writing, and I like what you had to say about blah blah blah. And I'm like, man, it's just crazy for me to have you saying that. Like, I feel like I'm sort of the kid at the club,
Yeah.
And I told him, I was like, I got to be honest, like, I feel every day I'm going to wake up and it'll have been a dream.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, I carry that with me, and that's not, I'm not being self-deprecating,
Yep.
because it still feels like a dream. I mean, I've got a collection of all the articles I've written in the newspaper, and I'm like, this is a thing that I never would have thought would be possible for me, like to actually be, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And yet
Yeah.
it's real and it's been real. And yet that angst, it doesn't go away. And so I'm kind of like, I feel like a healthy amount of angst is something that's going to work in your favor
Yeah.
because it's going to motivate you just that extra bit, you know? Like I don't take for granted the opportunity that I've been given.
Yeah.
I'm extraordinarily grateful, but it's just like, you know, like don't the that the joy of being where you are should never wear off, in my opinion. You know,
Yeah.
you don't want to get cynical about it.
Yeah. Yeah. I agree with everything you just said. I think, you know, you don't want to become like crazy neurotic or something, but like, yeah, like a healthy amount of angst is normal and probably okay and maybe even helpful in some ways. Yeah, I agree with that, you know, and yeah, it keeps you appreciating it.
And I think to that point, Brian, I think to a large extent, being a writer is just as much about the body of work that you create rather than the individual pieces.
Sure.
Right.
Yeah.
And to like you're not always going to get a home run, but you want to try to get on base every time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, sure.
And you know, just be consistent with it. Like kind of what you said earlier, like know that you're dependable.
Right.
So, you know, there was something Neil Gaiman said in a commencement address. He says, and I figure he's a good person to know how to succeed at writing.
Mm-hmm.
He says, in order to succeed in writing, you have to do three things. You have to be good, you have to be easy to deal with, and you have to meet your deadlines. And then he said, the trick though is you really only have to do two of those at any given time. And I always think about that. I'm like, well, I don't know how good I am, but I know I'm easy to deal with, and I know I meet my deadlines.
Right.
So I hit those too, you know.
Yeah, that's funny. I like that.
But that honestly, that's been what's worked for me is just you know, ultimately editors are looking at you to solve problems. You're either creating a problem or solving. So I'm like, okay, if you need me to turn this around in 6 hours, no problem. You need it by tomorrow at 6 a.m. No problem. You know,
Right.
always say yes, and more opportunities come up. That's been my experience anyway.
Yeah. This is a good question.
I think it is a good question, and I think I can speak for two of us. I mean, we've been doing it long enough now at this point that we have a sense of the work that goes into it, and it's not really about sort of the glitz and glamour, which there isn't any, but like, you know, it's like it's the work, it's the joy of being able to do the work.
Definitely.
You know?
Definitely. I mean, this goes way back to like film school, but I remember on day one, a professor saying, if you don't really want to do this, you shouldn't be here.
Yeah.
And I remember it feeling very gloomy when they said that, but that could be one of the most important things they ever said, because it's so true. I mean, it's challenging. It's a slog, and not everybody makes it through. And it's not because they weren't any good, but it's just, there has to be a real burning passion for it that continues. And, yeah, even on my worst days, it's something I care about so much. And I think that's what's kept me going. And I'm very thankful for the people and the opportunities that have made it possible. But yeah, it's you know, sometimes you're crawling through the woods sometimes just to keep going at it. But
I remember at Columbia, one of my teachers when I started was like, the thing about film school is what you get out of it is what you bring to it. And I was like, all right, Yoda, I'm paying like 10 grand or whatever it is to come here. So maybe you can give me something I'm not bringing to it, you know?
That's funny.
Yeah, but I hope what we had to say for Simon will be beneficial and for anybody else, and keep us posted, Simon.
I was just going to say, Simon, if you want to reach out any more, I'd be happy to keep talking.
Well, that said, let's move on to some new trailers that have dropped in recent weeks.
Yeah.
So Brian, this is a show that I have been very curious to hear your thoughts about, and this is The Last of Us, the HBO
Yeah.
Max series about the video game The Last of Us, which you've been quite rhapsodic about in your praise of it.
Oh man, I loved playing this so much. I've even considered playing it through one more time just before the show, to kind of get it back in my head. But yeah, it was just it was one of those things where I wasn't super into video games for a while, and then my brother bought me a PS3 for Christmas and was like, "I just feel like you'd enjoy this." And I was just taken with how much games had changed, and I like storytelling wise, right? Where they were really character rich now, and they had plots, and it was just so new to me in that time. I mean, now I think most people kind of recognize that, but Uncharted was where I began with the sort of story games, which was sort of like an Indiana Jones adventure sort of thing, which I loved. And then The Last of Us was like, wow, this is like a really solid drama, with these characters, going through this sort of apocalyptic event. And when it was over, I was really moved. And so, yeah, it's one of the games that has really stuck with me through the years, and that I can still recall so many moments from it, experiences from it. And so when they said they were going to turn it into a movie or a show, I was like, yeah, I mean, it's all there, right? I mean, the characters are there, the story is there, the set pieces are there. And the only thing was adapting video games hasn't always gone so well, right? And but I think the makers of the game are directly involved with this adaptation, and Neil Druckmann, that's one of the people I think, and Pedro Pascal, we love Nick Offerman. There's a lot of really interesting people involved with it. It just feels like the pedigree is there, and so I'm hoping then that this show will.
I think it's a novel choice to cast Nick Offerman as the little girl. I was like,
yeah, you're right. Yeah. But I trust them. I trust their vision.
Well, let's play some of the audio from the trailer, and then we can talk about your thoughts on it.
This is your chance. Our best shot. You keep her alive. And you set everything right.
I think this looks great. I mean, it's kind of hard to tell from a trailer, but I see things that I recognize. Like I said, I mean, I think the actors involved are all great. I have high hopes for this one, and it's coming sooner rather than later, right? Like I think mid-January next year.
It's sneaking up on us, yeah.
Yeah. What do you think, as someone who's not familiar with the game? Let me say something real quick, because I actually mean something specifically. I think there's been so much apocalyptic material in the past 10 years.
Yes.
That start to feel a little samey.
Right.
And I wonder if I had just seen this trailer independent of the game, if I would think, oh, another one of those. And I am bringing my feelings and experiences from the game to this, and with the hope, right, that this series is going to be resemble the game that I played. And so I don't even know if the trailer, I'm like, well, yeah, I got it. Like, I'm just ready for the show now because I love the game so much. So I'm curious, as someone who hasn't played the game, what your feelings were.
That's been kind of my experience this year, with Uncharted, where I'm like, well, it's kind of like a Indiana Jones riff.
Mm-hmm.
Like barring it, my I don't know much about the game, so I was just like, well, it feels like a pastiche of that,
Mm-hmm.
and then my kid was watching the Halo series on Paramount Plus,
Right,
which I think is a well-made show and it looks nice, but I was like, I don't really feel anything, and he'd be like, hey, it's that thing with the thing, and I'm like, I don't know what you're saying,
right.
So with this, to be honest, it's Pedro Pascal that has me interested.
Right.
Because the premise, I'm like, this just seems very Walking Dead.
Totally.
So it's the Pascal of it all that's got me curious.
Yeah. So you're wagering, you could say, Pascal wagers of, I can't make references.
I'm hoping. So I'm hoping it's good. But
Cool.
the trailer, like I wasn't like, oh, I'm not going to watch it, but I wasn't like, oh, it's that thing I know, because I don't know it.
Right.
You know.
I
So
can see that.
So I suppose in 2 months, we'll be having a conversation about the show, and you'll be telling me in greater detail whether it works or doesn't.
Mm-hmm.
But until then, it's kind of just like put a pin in it.
Yep. I get that.
That said, another trailer dropped just today, Brian, just mere hours ago,
Mm-hmm.
and it is the full trailer for Avatar: The Way of Water.
Yes.
So first of all, let's play some of this.
We cannot let you bring your war here.
Outcast. That's all they see.
I see you.
The way of water connects all things.
All right. So as I recall, when we talked about the teaser,
Yeah.
I said that it looks all kind of the same as the first one,
Yeah.
and you said, "Beam me up to Pandora," or whatever you said. You were enthused, is my recollection.
I was into it. Yeah.
Now, since trailer one, I have revisited Avatar on the big screen.
Oh yeah, I missed that. I wish I had.
So I've had that. I have that experience in my utility belt.
Yep.
I'm excited to see the sequel, but if I'm honest, this trailer didn't turn the knob in either direction.
Okay.
Like I'm still at a net neutral.
Oh wow. Okay. Not what I expected. I was like, it's beautiful. And I'm not even passionate about it. I just was like, this looks gorgeous. I can't wait.
I mean, but it like we knew it was going to look gorgeous. I guess that's you know what I mean?
Yeah, and that's a good point. I will admit that I think it does look a cut above visual effects wise, because and that's why I think it popped out to me so much, because
you'd hope 12, 13 years later that it would look better, right? I mean,
100%. And I think one of my complaints, I think, in the past couple of years is I know we can do anything, right? Like you can have any sort of, that's why I think movies don't dazzle me as much anymore, because I have seen it all. You know what I mean? So it really actually, I need to care if I'm ever going to experience anything or feel anything during your special effects bonanzas. But I think with this one, I was like, oh dang, this looks really cool. But like you said, we expect that. So, okay, great. But I don't know. I don't know. Something about seeing the father kid relationship stuff. I mean, it's very minimal, but I was like, I'm ready to not only go see something that's going to dazzle me, but again, knowing this is James Cameron, I know it is going to be well made, and I think he's going to be able to grab me and make me care about this.
well, see, so that's my thought, is having just watched it last month. At the end of that movie, at the end of rewatching the first one, and there's like a scene that they show from the new one, I was like, all right, plug me in. I want Avatar 2, right? Ready to go. And watching this trailer, I was like, I would have rather gone into the movie not having seen any of this, because what I've realized is like so much of the experience is seeing it the way he wants you to see it.
Sure.
Right. And so I'm like, all this imagery and stuff, I almost don't want it in my head. I just want to experience it, because I know well, let me rephrase. I'm fairly certain I will walk out of my theatrical experience being like, man, that was really something.
Sure.
I have little doubt that James Cameron will have pulled it off. But to me, Avatar, that's what I'm realizing, is like it's about seeing it in the theater, seeing it in 3D, it's all of that. And I want to experience it that way.
You want it that way.
There you go.
I'm not cutting it.
This is what happens when we record at night. folks.
I know.
You get spontaneous Backstreet Boys riffs from Brian.
I think something's crystallizing for me. I think what this trailer was tapping into was it's so funny, like everyone knows this fact somehow. But when the first one came out, obviously there were a ton of repeat viewings, and people were reportedly saying that they felt sadness that they couldn't go to this place. And I think this trailer was definitely trying to tap into that, don't you want to go here? Because I think it even says like, welcome back to Pandora, kind of a thing. And I would say that worked on me to some degree where I was like, yes, I want that in my eyeballs. But I also just, as film nerd Brian Hall, I know what Cameron can do. And I know that he's not going to deliver something good. He's going to deliver something great. So I think I'm bringing that to it also, where I'm like, I want more Cameron. I want more Cameron. And I know it's going to look pretty. So I think for that reason,
it's so funny because I think that if you were to dip into our archives over the last 10 years, I mean, certainly for me, I'm not going to speak for you, but I have been so completely bipolar about Avatar as a franchise. I bounced back and forth like a tennis ball,
Yeah.
And now I'm firmly, again, having that recent experience, I'm just like, no, I know it's going to be something really, I think it will have been worth the wait.
Right.
I suppose we'll find out if like a month from now we're like, yeah, so that was a thing.
I'm so curious because that was the thing maybe 5 years ago when he was still talking about making these sequels, where we were like, yeah, but I don't know, man, just don't set yourself up to know that maybe this can't be replicated. Time has passed. We're not talking about Avatar as much. I don't know.
Yeah.
But I am sensing this feeling of and not just from film nerds and stuff, but just people like, oh yeah, no, I like Avatar, I'm ready to go back.
Well, you think about it, like it's been long enough now that a whole generation has like come of age.
Mm-hmm.
Right? I mean, the length of time between Avatar 1 and 2 is slightly less than the length of time between Return of the Jedi and the Phantom Menace.
It's crazy. Yeah.
Right? Because what was that, 16 years? 16, right?
Yeah.
And this is 13 years.
Yeah, it's wild. I don't know that it will do Avatar 1 numbers because that's I don't know if anyone can still explain how that happened.
Yeah.
But I do think it will do very well.
Yeah. Well, again, put a pin in this one too, because I think we'll be back to have a conversation about that.
Yeah.
Let's take another short break, and there's a couple headlines to discuss. And we are back, and hey, so some news has broken in the last couple of weeks related to some of the things we tend to talk about. Brian, I believe you're a Harrison Ford fan, is my recollection.
That is accurate.
You celebrate his catalog?
I celebrate his entire catalog.
So even movies like Random Hearts you celebrate?
Oh, sure. The Conversation.
Yeah.
Going back, little bit parts. Hollywood Homicide.
Well, he's racked up a few franchises in his time. He's about to add a big one to his roster. Harrison Ford is about to join the MCU. Crazy. So he is taking on the role of General Thaddeus Thunderbolt Ross, which if those of you listening I would assume you know this, but just in case you don't, this was the role played up until last year by William Hurt.
Mm-hmm.
So this is Harrison Ford taking over William Hurt's role, which I find interesting because Marvel has sort of bounced back and forth about whether they recast or retire characters. And you'd think it seems like General Ross would be I mean, I like General Ross. I think he's a great character. He has a long storied history at Marvel, but it felt like, oh, William Hurt is gone, they will retire that character.
Sure.
But instead, it's going to be Harrison Ford first in Captain America: New World Order, and then in Thunderbolts.
You know, I find this fascinating because Harrison Ford, his public persona, at least when he's on talk shows and, people ask him about, well, actually, I feel like I'm answering my own question here now. He seems to just not care about any of it. And so at 80 years old, obviously he's passionate about the character of Indiana Jones. He's been, all of those movies have been sort of a trifecta of creativity, right? I think between Lucas, Spielberg, and Harrison Ford, they feel a connection with that character. But everything else, it just feels like, I don't know. He kind of strikes me as the type of guy who just doesn't really care about some of this stuff and would rather just be off flying his airplane,
Leave him alone to fly his plane or build stuff.
Yeah, that's what I sense from him. But I guess his choices reflect something else, right? I mean, so joining the MCU and playing this character for multiple films. I mean, what was the other thing? When he was in Expendables, it just doesn't feel like something he would be, if you asked him, he'd be like, no.
Well, here's, excuse me. I think you cracked the case with the Expendables, right? Because lest we forget, the Harrison Ford's appearance in Expendables 3 only came about because originally it was supposed to be Bruce Willis in that role. And they asked Bruce Willis to fly to Budapest or something.
Yeah.
And they were like, 4 days work, we'll give you $3 million. And Bruce Willis said, no, I want $4 million. And they were like, kick rocks.
Right.
They got Harrison Ford on the line. Harrison Ford's like, $3 million. Sounds good.
Yeah.
So that right there tells you about Harrison Ford. Not that he's a mercenary or that he's only in it for the money, that he knows a good deal when he sees one.
I think that might be it. Because, right? I mean, I think he's partially joking, but there could be some truth to it when people say, what do you think about coming back as Han Solo, in another Star Wars movie? And he's like, I think they paid me.
Yeah.
That's kind of his
right.
go-to sort of joke, at least on talk shows. So
bearing that in mind,
yeah,
what would his MCU role likely involve? He walks in,
right.
He drops some exposition. So Captain America's in the the office, and he's like, hey, what's going on? And Harrison Ford's like, we want to know. There's going to be a bunch of stuff. So make sure you do that.
And then Captain America's like, say that again.
Yeah, he's like, and he says, no, you only paid me for once.
That's right.
They say cut. He walks out. They hand him a sack with the $sign on it.
That buys a lot of plane fuel.
That's what I'm saying. So my point is this: looking at the further arc of Harrison Ford's career. Let's say most likely Indiana Jones 5 is kind of his last hurrah as an action hero. That seems fair.
Mm-hmm.
So then you say, well, what does the last act of his career look like? Well, it's these type of roles, right? It's Chuck Heston in True Lies.
Right. Wow, that's pretty pretty good comparison there. Yeah.
Because when I watched True Lies, I was a little kid, but I knew who Charlton Heston. I was like, all you do is you just plop Charlton Heston in there, and he adds all the gravitas that character needs. Because you're like, well, it's Charlton Heston.
Mm-hmm. You sit up straighter, like you listen to that guy when otherwise you might not listen as closely in that scene.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
And Chuck Heston, by the way, was a total Nick Fury. He even had the eye patch. Remember?
Yeah, that's right.
I say, Harry, you really screwed the pooch.
That's good.
So that's what Harrison Ford gets to do. Now, the character of General Ross in the comic books, he becomes the Red Hulk. I wonder if they have left that out of any conversations they've had with him.
Oh, there's a few things I want to see more.
He gets the script. He's like, General Ross walks in here, and then the hell is this? Flipping pages. Son of a what? He's going to be pointing his finger at somebody after he reads it. But the other thought I had is this is not even the first time that Harrison Ford has replaced an actor in a role. See, I'm straining your memory. Apparently,
I know. I don't know. I can't think.
Jack Ryan.
Of course. Right.
Something that Alec Baldwin, he replaced Alec Baldwin as Jack Ryan. Alec Baldwin supposedly was in negotiations to come back for Patriot Games.
Mm-hmm.
But Harrison Ford was a bigger name, so they went with him. And I think Baldwin still bears a grudge.
Yeah.
He's it's actually I have a quote here.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So Alec Baldwin wrote a memoir a couple of years ago.
Uh-huh.
He had no idea he was being ousted from the Clancy role, and Ford was distinctly unsympathetic to the situation. So here's the quote. John McTiernan, the director, told me he spoke with Ford and asked if he was aware the Paramount was in active negotiations with me. This is Alec Baldwin. Ford's reply, according to John, was F him. Years later, Baldwin met the star of Indiana Jones and gave a very unflattering description in his memoir. Baldwin writes, I realized then that the movies really do enhance certain actors, making them seem like something they really aren't at all. Ford in person is a little man, short, scrawny, and wiry, whose soft voice sounds as if it's coming from behind a door. Ouch. And then in response, Harrison Ford called Alec Baldwin a rude, thoughtless pig. So I don't know.
At first I thought you were serious. I was like, whoa. Yeah.
So Alec Baldwin not holding back.
Yeah. All right.
Which first of all, I can't imagine that Harrison Ford, even if he did say it, I believe he said it, but I don't know if it was like
right. Probably
as much disdain.
Yeah.
He said it with a smile.
Right.
But regardless, so my point is, I saw people online. I saw one person online who's like, finding out Harrison Ford is joining the MCU is like finding out the last polar bear has died. And I'm like, is Harrison Ford like Daniel Day-Lewis all of a sudden?
I know.
Right? Like I'm not diminishing what Harrison Ford does, but the guy makes franchise movies. That's been his whole career.
Right.
You know?
Yeah. It's not like, I mean, we were joking earlier, he's not all of his movies have, stood the test of time. But I have him Googled. I was just kind of curious, but he has made, his movies have grossed more than 9.3 billion worldwide. Damn. That's crazy. He's the 7th highest grossing actor in North America.
Yeah. And he has earned the right to be at the Chuck Heston and True Lies phase of his career.
Why not?
It's crazy to think that the same summer True Lies came out, Harrison Ford starred in Clear and Present Danger.
Wow. Yeah, that's right. That was a memorable summer for me, 94.
Summer 94.
A lot of good stuff.
I agree.
Yeah.
That said, we're going to stay in the superhero universes just slightly longer, although we're going to go down the street to DC.
Mm-hmm.
So we talked about this in our last discussion, but it is now official. Henry Cavill is back as Superman, and he released a statement on Instagram, which why don't we play the audio from that statement?
Hey everyone, I wanted to wait until the weekend was over before posting this because I wanted to give you all a chance to watch Black Adam. But now that plenty of you have, I wanted to make it official that I am back as Superman. And the image you see on this post and what you saw in Black Adam are just a very small taste of things to come. So there's a lot to be thankful for, and I'll get to that in time. But I wanted to thank you guys most of all. Thank you for your support, and thank you for your patience. I promise it will be rewarded.
So Henry Cavill, this was like the worst kept secret. It's like I think The Rock was single-handedly telling everybody on Earth that Henry Cavill was in the movie.
Right.
He was like Kristen Wiig in those SNL sketches.
Right.
That was him,
Yeah.
But he has said, like, his goal is for it to be joyous and hopeful, and he had this great quote where he talked about how you should feel when you leave the theater after watching uh, whatever the next Superman movie is going to be, starring him.
Mhm.
And he says the most important thing is for the audience to leave the cinema and to feel like they can fly, to feel like they can protect, and to feel like they want to give to everyone else, which is a nice
I
sentiment.
love
Right?
it. That's what I want to hear.
Of course, some people are very upset about that because they're like, we already got that with Man of Steel, and I say, well, sure, but this will be more of that. Like, what's the problem?
I know.
There are folks who do not enjoy being happy, is what I've realized.
Yeah.
The complaint I've seen a lot of is that the fact that he's not wearing the black suit in his cameo, that breaks canon or continuity, and I'm kind of like, what universe do you think they would have Henry Cavill show up as Superman and he would not be wearing the Superman suit, the blue and
Yeah.
red Superman suit?
Agreed.
Are you nuts? Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, well, I mean, I don't know. Like that's that movie. I think I'm sort of used to this, maybe because of action figures growing up. But with every movie, there was always like a different suit,
Yeah.
right? Because they wanted you to get a new action figure. So
I mean, your movie is about a dude in a black suit, and you want to strike a contrast. So, of course, you have Superman wearing his traditional suit.
yeah.
But the official announcement happened as the movie has continued to perform at top of the box office. It has been number one for both its opening weekend and its second weekend, and I would assume it'll be at number one this coming weekend.
Yeah, probably till Black Panther, right?
Probably till Black Panther's going to demolish it. But
Yeah.
I was looking at the box office. I was like, well, this thing is not like a mega hit, but it's also not a flop. So it's kind of right in line with most Dwayne Johnson movies.
Yeah, right.
So I'm actually very curious if the performance, like how does Warner Brothers read the performance of this movie?
Yeah, I don't know, because you mean in relation to how they expect like Flash or something to do?
Well, they spent $200 million making this, which
right.
I would say they overspent.
Agreed.
Yeah, so I wonder if they just. I mean, that seems like they spent a lot.
Yeah, but this has been long in development. Obviously, they feel very strongly about having. I was going to call him The Rock, but wasn't that part of our discussion last time about your age,
right.
what you call him? Dwayne Johnson. Obviously, they wanted him aboard and amiable, and so I wonder if that's just what's required to get all that taken care of, and then moving forward, you spend accordingly with that series. But
Henry Cavill, speaking of spending accordingly, he has left The Witcher.
I just heard that. Yeah.
So I'm assuming, and he's being replaced by Liam Hemsworth. I've not seen that show, so I can't comment on that. But
Same.
But it does feel kind of like a step down a little bit.
What do you mean? The replacement, or you mean him leaving?
Well, I guess both, right? I mean, I don't know that Liam Hemsworth.
I see.
I don't buy him as a replacement for Henry Cavill.
Yeah, like I said, I don't watch the show, but I would be disappointed, I think, if I was several seasons into something, and it seems a lot of people liked Cavill in this role, and it would be disappointing to see them leave, before it's over and be replaced.
See, I'm wondering if that is a tell that the Superman movie is further along than we thought. Like he's trying to clear his plate, right?
Right.
That's kind of the fact that he has been. I mean, he puts out that statement. He's so out and forthright with it. Tells me, well, this can't be something like, oh, we're thinking about doing. I mean, otherwise you're really getting ahead of yourself. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I was thinking that because I thought I had read somewhere that they're looking for writers at the moment, but and so it almost sounds like he's willing into existence the movie he wants to be, by putting the statement out and being like, no, it's going to be like this, I promise, kind of a thing. Because then it's like, hey, I told everybody it's going to be really optimistic.
Well, related to that, they just announced with all this DC news in the pipeline, DC Films is what it used to be called. It has been renamed DC Studios,
Oh, okay.
and the previous honcho Walter Hamada, he has cleared out, and he has been replaced by James Gunn.
Yeah.
James Gunn and Peter Safran, who both of them worked together on Suicide Squad and Peacemaker. Peter Safran produced Aquaman and Shazam, in addition to Black Adam.
Yeah, and all
so
the Conjuring movies, I think, which have been
The
pretty
Conjuring
successful.
also. That's right.
Yeah.
So apparently, Peter Safran was James Gunn's manager back in the day. So
I did not know that.
so they know each other, but they have been tapped to be the new co-heads. So you need two people to make one Kevin Feige.
To make one Feige, yeah.
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 Right. And that's David Zaslav, who's the new head of the company, has been saying for a while, like, oh, we're looking for like our Feige. And I guess James Gunn was the guy. So he is the new honcho for the DC slate, at least I think he has they said a 4-year contract.
Okay.
And I find the timing of all of this has to be interrelated, right? Because I think announcing Henry Cavill's back and all of that, you have all that in place, and then when James Gunn is in charge, how do you not then say, yeah, and by the way, we have a Superman movie coming?
Right.
Right? That would be embarrassing.
Right.
And my understanding is that this was one of like the first orders of business is we can't have Superman sitting on the bench. We need to do something with Superman. You know? But I was surprised by this news. I mean, it caught me unexpectedly.
I mean, it feels, James Gunn is a filmmaker, right? And so I'm certain he will continue to make films, but this feels almost like an office job in some ways. I mean, a very creative one, don't get me wrong, but it's like, oh, that's really interesting that is what he would like to dedicate a lot of his time to, you know? So he must be very passionate about the DC universe. So,
well, I think if you watched the Suicide Squad, and certainly if you watched Peacemaker, you see, well, this is somebody with a deep knowledge of how far back the bench of characters goes. You know, when you bring in Starro the Conqueror and stuff like that, you're like, this guy's coming at it as a geek. I mean, like or dislike his DC output, and you know those works have been generally well received, but I mean, you know, people have different opinions. I don't think that James Gunn being in charge means that suddenly everything's going to be ultra violent or jokey. I don't think that's the case. I think as a filmmaker, he's going to respect other filmmakers' visions. I think, you know,
I think that makes sense because I mean, Suicide Squad should be wacky and violent and
that's right,
dark, right? You know, dark comedy. But and then you let Superman be Superman and Batman be brooding, and
But see, what I really liked about the Suicide Squad was that it was very much true to its own tone, but it was very much a movie that lives within a broader DC universe, and that's what's exciting to me. Yeah, because I think. You know, there was a moment there where the DC brand was leaning real heavily into being very dark and you know, rain soaked and that type of thing. You know, and I don't mind that for individual projects, but I think when you make that sort of the entire gestalt of the whole thing, that becomes very samey. So I don't want everything to be the Suicide Squad, but I don't need to worry about that because you look at, you know, what James Wan is doing with Aquaman, that's something different. What, you know, David Sandberg is doing with Shazam, it's something different. You know what I mean? Like they're all doing something different. And so in other words, to me, that's more like Marvel, where, and this is how I feel, maybe people disagree, but like I think those franchises are all different from each other. You know, in that, you know, what Taika's doing with Thor is not what what they're doing with other characters. You know, like it's the filmmakers are putting their imprints on it, and that's what you want to see.
Yeah, well, you know, but I'm very curious. You know, when it seemed like DC was still kind of feeling their way through the dark a little bit as they were moving forward. They still put, the Cavill Superman, even though it wasn't his head, in Shazam, right? Like,
Right.
I'm sure they would have loved it to have been Cavill, but it's like there was this sort of interconnectedness that they were still trying to hold together, it felt like. But it's interesting now that you have your Joker, right? And you have the Batman.
The Batman, yeah.
And so I imagine, if you're going to have we're doing Superman again, let's go. It's like, well, then you also want to have a Batman, right? And so is it going to be that Batman, or is this just going to be this sort of side universe that coexists? That's something Marvel hasn't done, but that doesn't mean, they didn't write the book on how to do this necessarily. They've just wrote a successful book on it. So I wonder if you can do all of the above.
Well, here's my thought on that. We know that there are 2 more Ben Affleck Batman appearances coming, for sure.
Right.
So he's going to be in The Flash, and he's going to be in Aquaman.
Mm-hmm.
And what we know about his appearance in Aquaman is that they reshot something that Michael Keaton shot for that.
Yeah.
So I'm assuming that means that whatever plan they had leading out of The Flash is no longer set in stone.
Right.
So that's number 1. Number 2, I would think one of the main impetus behind having somebody like James Gunn is his relationships with filmmakers. Right? So if you were to convince Affleck to stick around, I feel like James Gunn would be somebody who could do that. Right? Affleck has said, right? He signed on for Zack Snyder's vision, and what disillusioned him was how the studio it was like death by a thousand paper cuts.
Right.
So the Justice League specifically was a negative experience with doing the reshoots. But we know he came back and shot that epilogue for Snyder's cut.
Right.
Not just the future scene, but also like where he's as Bruce Wayne, he's like out on the patio or whatever. Like that was new footage. Right. So my point is, like, I don't think he's necessarily as done as he was, whatever it was 3 years ago.
Right. The circumstances have changed.
Yeah. So specifically what he quit was having the burden of making a Batman movie. That's what he quit. But I based on the fact that, again, he came back to do Aquaman like a month ago.
Right.
So the door is not as shut as we think, is what I'm saying. So long way of saying, I think for the time being, we can say, well, the Affleck Batman still exists in this universe, barring something more definitive.
So then, do you just have this sort of side Batman trilogy going on? I think the Batman takes the burden off of Ben Affleck. Right.
So Warner's Batman movie series gets to continue on, and they're doing their own thing. They're still doing that Penguin show. Meanwhile, you get to have Affleck as Batman in the universe, assuming it isn't. I think the Keaton plan is finished. I think.
I dreamed a dream. Yeah,
right. We talked about it before. I think the original plan was for Keaton to sort of be the Nick Fury, and just flit in and out of these movies. That seems to no longer be the case. I guess we'll find out. He is definitively in The Flash. We know that.
Yay.
Yeah. So at least we have that to look forward to.
Yeah.
But I got to be honest. I'm as just a fan of the universe. As soon as I heard James Gunn is the guy in charge, I was excited. I was like, all I see is possibilities.
Same. That's a perfect way of putting it. I have so many questions, but they're all just curiosities. I'm just very curious to see how this what they managed to do, moving forward. Obviously they have some sort of plan, something that Warner Brothers believed in. And so, yeah, I'm very curious. And I think, I agree with you. I think James Gunn makes total sense.
Well, I suppose whenever there's a big announcement that comes out of the new DC regime, I'm sure we'll have stuff to say about that. But I'm glad we got a chance to discuss it.
Yeah, same. It's funny
I'd
too
be
because
very-
he's still got some Marvel responsibilities to tidy up, right? I mean, he has a
Yeah.
Guardians Christmas special coming up, and then he has the Guardians 3. So,
Guardians 3.
knowing like you said that he has a 4-year contract, I'm like, when does it start? Because I'm sure
Well,
he's
apparently, well, this is interesting. It's the initial news said that as of November 1st, he would be beginning the job.
oh wow,
And Kevin Feige said, well, he's got some shit to do for us till like May.
right,
So I picture James Gunn doing like a Jack Tripper Three's Company thing where he's trying to run back and forth between two dates.
right. That's really funny.
He's like turning his jacket inside out.
Right. Yeah, he's meeting 2 people at once in one restaurant, and like, yeah,
That's right.
yeah,
That's sort of what David Zaslav is here. Kevin Feige is there.
Right.
He's going back and forth. So if Feige said that at the Black Panther premiere, I wonder how much of that was him sort of kidding.
sure.
Because according to James Gunn, Feige is the first person that he called, which I'm sure that is true, and I'm sure that Feige was very positive about that. I can't imagine he would be against it. I think this is where I'm coming from. I having absolutely loved Peacemaker. I'm kind of like, I don't want every DC joint to have that same tone. I think that's a tone that specifically worked for
Right.
that show. But that show made me love that character. And I think I've said this on our show before. At the end of the Suicide Squad, I was like, I hate Peacemaker.
Right.
And so what James Gunn figured out was, I'm going to make you care about this guy. I'm going to start at a much lower place and make you care. And I'm like, this is not even a backbencher. He's a backbencher, Peacemaker. That let's do that. Let's do finally for DC what Marvel has been doing. They just announced that Yahya Abdul-Mateen is going to play Wonder Man.
Right.
And that's a Marvel character. And again, this is like a third tier Avenger, but they're like, no, we're going to do this. That's what I want to see DC doing.
Totally.
So I think James Gunn will be the guy to do that.
Yeah. Well, seems like a smart decision.
I guess we shall see how much egg is on our face in the next few months.
Right.
See how well this ages. But if y'all listening, if you have thoughts on it, please let us know. You can email us at moviefilmpodcast@gmail.com. You can also hit like on our Facebook page, facebook.com/moviefilmpodcast, and you can message us there. As always, if you like what we're doing, please go to Apple Podcasts and leave a review, leave a star rating. Every little bit helps, and we are most appreciative of that. Brian, if people are looking for you, where can they find you?
Oh, I got puppy dog pal stuff coming out the wazoo. I had a Halloween episode just come out recently. There's a Thanksgiving one coming out this weekend, which I remember really enjoying. So check that out at Disney Plus, and Disney Junior.
I've said this before. My fourth kid, he's like, hey, they added a new puppy dog pals. He's monitoring the episode numbers, like the count.
That's I think about this because I know when they come out, but I remember as a kid not paying attention to, like that there was a new Muppet Babies. Like I just turned it on and watched it, right? And so
Right.
I'm sort of amazed when you say that they notice. I guess when you can see it like a episode list on streaming, it's a little more noticeable.
On Disney Plus, it says like for whatever the latest season is, this many episodes. So he checks in periodically to see if the episode count has gone up.
Oh, so funny. Well, I can't wait for the new one to drop for him.
He's looking forward to it. If you're looking for me, for the time being, you can find me on Twitter. Let's see how I may not have that blue check mark after my name much longer. I guess let's sort of put a ticking clock on that. I'm not putting money in Elon Musk's pocket. I'll tell you that much.
Right.
But I'm on Twitter at Zacky's Corner, the ZAKIS Corner. That's also my Instagram, and it's also my website, justedit.com. You can also find my writing at the San Francisco Chronicle, where I have my review of Blockbuster. which you've heard some of my thoughts already this episode. But if you want to read more of that, that's there. And I got some other fun stuff coming up next week, so look for that. And with that, on behalf of my partner, Brian Hall, my name is Zaki Hassan. This has been Movie Film 257, and we will catch you next time. Thanks, everybody.
Welcome, friends, it's the Movie Film Podcast. Movie Film Podcast, enjoy the show. Zachy and Brian are talking about movies. Movie Film Podcast on the radio.